your martial arts movie podcast.
I threw that shit before I walked in the room.
Featuring drunken Thai boxer Will.
Too bad you will die.
The also drunken wrestler Mark.
I said I don't want trouble.
And drunken karate master Zero.
You've lost your balls.
And now,
I know Kung Fu. You know, baby.
Fists of Fail.
Hey, you've been pushing for this movie.
Yeah.
I've been very hesitant, even though I've never seen it. I don't like to judge a movie without watching it. I think the reputation was kind of notorious, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did push this movie pretty hard. I have seen this movie several times.
What movie are we talking about, Will?
We are talking about Ninja Assassin. Lots of... well, the title is kind of redundant because what does ninja mean? It's an assassin.
So is this a ninja who is also an assassin? Or is this an assassin of ninjas?
Oh, that's a good point. Right? It's a kind of redundant title.
Maybe that's what they were going for. They're like, we're so clever.
They thought of this movie as a joke on the production of Speed Racer. They being
The stunt team?
Yeah, the stunt team, exactly. They were just thinking of, I don't know. It looks like Rain can do his own stunts, kind of thing. He seems pretty impressive, and during a shooting of a fight scene in that movie, and everyone remembers how amazing Speed Racer is. Right?
I like Speed Racer.
You like it?
Yeah, I love that.
Do you like it more than this movie?
Oh yeah, I would watch Speed Racer
God.
again. Yeah, I love Speed Racer. I have. I have.
Those
a lot
words
of
have
love
never
for that
been
movie.
uttered ever.
I'm in the opposite end of the spectrum with that movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it when I watched it.
Okay, well, in the production of that, because Rain was also in that movie,
former Korean pop star.
He's still active, right?
I do not know.
I don't know.
So that's why I say former. But
Yeah.
I guess I could be mistaken. But I mean, I don't believe he was doing music when he was doing movies.
He might have been. I don't know. Let's take ourselves back to the late 2000s.
When did this movie come out again?
2009. That's what we're talking about. It's been 10 years. That's
Oh
another
my God.
reason why.
Jesus.
This movie would be lost to time if it weren't for us salvaging it, digging up its grave. But there is a cult following for this movie.
What? Are they blind? And I mean that literally because you can't see anything in this movie. Oh my God.
Save your complaints for later, because I get you.
I've been wanting to let that out for a while.
Okay, so again, they conceived of this movie as a joke on the set of Speed Racer. They were like, "Oh, Rain looks like he can hold his own. He's pretty competent. What if we had a ninja movie? Let's just call it Ninja. No, that sounds too stupid. Let's call it Ninja Assassin, because that's not redundant at all." So they helmed the idea, and that we had this production, and we have Rain starring in the role as the Ninja Assassin.
Yeah.
I guess you know what? You made that joke before. I guess he is a ninja assassin.
That's what I said. They're clever.
Oh,
See? You see what they did there? He's also a ninja, but he's an assassin of ninjas as well. Hence the title, Ninja Assassin.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
a little slow to the joke, but yeah.
This is high art, Will.
You mean the movie or your joke?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I watched this movie a while ago, and again, let's take this back to the late 2000s, 2009. Rain was pretty big in terms of K-pop, K-dramas, and the Korean fanaticism world.
Yeah,
I guess
he was breaking over into movie roles. He was in a movie that I actually really liked. I think it's called I'm a Cyborg, but That's Okay.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
I liked him in that movie. I mean, it's about a bunch of people in a mental institution.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pretty wacky movie. I liked it a lot though. So naturally, he got casted in Speed Racer, so he's gonna be in,
They said like, oh, because he was in a mental institute in that movie. Naturally, he belongs as a ninja assassin.
Oh, of course, yes, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. So at the time, I guess you would say that he has had a potential. You're gonna hear me say that word a lot this episode, the word potential. But he had a lot of potential for stardom in the States, or I guess in the Western world, because obviously unless you are in with the Korean drama world, you really don't know who he is. But he could have broken out into that, and that was the intention with this movie, with him starring in it. And surprise, surprise, he's actually very well fitted for the actual athletic physique of the character that they. Or I'm sorry, how should I explain this better? He like his physique, it was like just perfectly suited for this role. Do you know what I mean by that?
I'll say yes and no, just because he did have to train, and work out a lot to get into the role. But if you watch the making of, you can see he put a lot of dedication into it, and the guy looks fucking cut.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Oh yeah,
I will never take that away from him. He looks really good. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but you just mentioned the making of this movie. There is so much to watch and be entertained by in the making of this movie that you could just straight up skip the movie.
So are we going to skip this conversation and just recommend people to watch the making of?
Well, we have to talk about the movie because there is a movie that was made with the making of the movie.
Oh, man. I usually try not to get so down on movies. I try to find the positive things in them. That's one of the things I do. But, man, this was a slog for me to get through.
Man, that's so funny to me. Okay, I'm approaching
it's
this
usually
a little differently.
you who's saying that.
Yeah, I'm the Debbie Downer of the group.
Yeah.
But okay, there is a lot of potential here, and okay.
After watching that making of, you can see the potential, and if you were to go into a program and you were to brighten up the scenes, you could maybe see even more of that potential.
Maybe.
But I don't think many of the viewers have access to those programs or want to spend the time to do something like that after watching this movie.
Oh, man. I was thinking about doing it.
I was thinking about doing it after watching it.
Yeah, I think we both had the same thought. We were like, let's just open up After Effects or Premiere and just crank up the contrast a little bit, or like the brightness in general. But I'm like, I don't have the time for this.
Yeah, I don't want to waste time.
This is Ninja Assassin. But the making of this movie is so interesting. And aside from that, because I think we're going to, or at least I'm going to gush about the behind the scenes more than the actual movie. I like what the concept of the movie is. Because, okay, this is late 2000s. 2009 specifically was the year we had Ninja Assassin and also Ninja. We covered that in a previous episode with Scott Adkins. And we really didn't have any ninja movies throughout the whole 2000s. Ninjas, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Unless you're talking like straight to DVD. And mind you,
Ninja, Scott Adkins' Ninja was just VOD.
Right. I mean, even then, like the 2000s, it was like a wasteland for no ninja movies.
Probably because all the ninja movies came out in the 90s.
And the 80s. But mostly, late 80s.
A lot in the 90s straight to video, yeah.
Let's take it back one step. Let's go back to that time in the 80s and 90s, and even before then.
Because we're gonna stop talking about this movie.
I'm gonna give you a little bit respite or a little bit of reprieve from all that. This movie. Bring yourself back to that time. Ninjas were considered frightening, and they're supposed to be, and that's actually one thing I like about this movie. Don't worry, I won't say that. I won't say that line too often in this episode, but. The one thing I like about it is that they actually make the ninjas menacing.
Yeah,
they make them scary.
Well, it's good that this movie was a R and a hard R because you're correct. The ninjas attack and they kill with no remorse. It's very brutal and very gory, surprisingly gory. The blood it doesn't look like real blood. It's very stylized. It looks like paint.
Yeah.
It's so unrealistically red. But yeah, I guess you can say they're scary, but I don't like this story either. So I can't.
Well, we're talking about the actual ninjas themselves and how they're portrayed in the movie in terms of how the viewers would see them. They're not jokes. They're not the butt of the joke. See, like when you're talking about the early '90s, when you watch movies with ninjas in them, they're kind of just disposable henchmen. They're easy to dispatch of.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
I see what you mean.
You know, like you play video games with ninjas. They're just like these little like puny henchmen. They're goons.
They're like fodder.
Yeah, exactly. You can just get rid of them easily. Like, but ninjas aren't supposed to be like that. They're supposed to be terrifying assassins. You know?
Okay. In
Ninja
that aspect, you're right. They are kind of scoffed at, but through the course of the movie, people realize, oh, okay, they should not be underestimated.
Yes. Yeah, and that's one thing I liked about this movie. Again, the second time I'm saying that.
Yeah.
That should be a drinking rule. It's like the few things I can point out that I actually like about this movie. They actually portrayed the ninjas as if they're intimidating beings, and that's what they are. Historically speaking, you don't want to mess with a ninja, and like you're probably going to die in a horrific way if you're going to encounter one. So
Sure, in theory, you shouldn't mess with a ninja.
In theory, this movie should have been good too.
Yeah.
Anything to sidetrack us and not talk about the movie itself.
Should we just talk about the movie?
Zero, what is the synopsis of the movie? What is this movie about?
I don't know. There is a Interpol-ish type agency.
Oh, that's the stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, what happens is a woman is investigating these deaths. They might be potentially linked to ninjas, so she convinces.
And that's when she got fired for incompetence.
Exactly. She convinces her superior to look into it, and he kind of gets convinced maybe she's onto something, and because ninjas are real in this movie, they have to snuff them out.
Yeah. Oh man, you talked about like the side story when the movie's really just about.
Well, that's the overall plot moving the movie forward.
Sure.
There is backstory to the main ninja played by Rain. It encompasses like his origins of being taken into this ninja clan as a child. It turns out the clan is full of orphans. They're raised to like never feel pain or ignore pain, use it as your strength, and all that kind of BS.
The Ozunu, that was what they call it. Doesn't matter. But
Right.
what does matter is who heads the ninja clan.
Some guy.
The guy you're talking about is Shokasugi. Shokasugi is one of the most recognizable ninjas, not ninja assassins from the late 80s and early 90s. I guess even earlier than that.
Yeah. I'm unfamiliar with his filmography.
Technically, I am too, but I've seen a couple of his movies.
Okay.
And he's considered one of the big names, and he came out of retirement for this movie. So it was...
Oh,
Your
poor
eyes just lit up.
Oh, poor sir. What did you do?
You know, I will say, watching him in this movie, because again, he was casted for this role because it was kind of like a love letter to people who watched ninja movies. In the way back when Jimmy Carter was in office, but they had him in the movie, and his voice is very, very distinct. It sounds like
he's got a very distinct voice.
You must follow family, But then when you listen to the making of the behind the scenes, he sounds like this. I'm so happy that he was in this movie.
It's called acting, Will.
It's pretty convincing. Maybe it was ADR, or maybe some sort of sound manipulation.
I think that was him. Well, I mean, yes, they're gonna do stuff to digitally clean his voice, or maybe make it a little deeper, but I'm pretty positive that's him speaking. So one of the things I was going to point out is, yes, we spoke about Scott Adkins' ninja movie. I was constantly like making comparisons in my head, to that?
You should, because Sho Kosugi, who is in this movie, is, in Ninja Assassin. His son, Shane Kosugi, is in Ninja 2, Shadow of a Tear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played the villain.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
He was a villain, right? I never finished that movie. So.
I never knew the actor's name. So.
The Asian dude. There's a lot of Asians.
Oh, and so the female protagonist in this movie, her character in the movie is named Mika, and the actress who plays the female protagonist in Ninja, Scott Adkins Ninja, her real name is Mika, wasn't it?
What are we doing
I don't know.
What are we doing? Is this 12 Degrees and Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't want to talk about this movie. That's what we're doing.
Oh, man. Let's see how long we can do this. Let's see how long we can hold off. Not talk
Okay.
about the actual
so
movie.
Rain's character, Raizo.
Raizo, yeah.
He basically the idea is he is banished from his clan because he refuses to he disobeys an order from his sensei / father, and ultimately he wants to kill all the ninjas. So he ends up helping this kind of Interpol-ish she's not an agent. I think she says her job equivalency is like a librarian somewhere later in the film.
None of this matters.
Yeah. So they team up, and now they're trying to take down the ninjas. It's silly. It's an overcomplicated, simple plot.
The plot doesn't matter, but what does matter in this action movie is the action. There's a lot of action in this movie.
Look at everything I wrote down.
Right. Zero wrote up on our board how much action is actually in the movie. Mind you, I also put asterisks next to each one of them indicating, hey, can we actually see the action? And it only accounts for half of it. And I'm being generous, technically. But we can talk about that, because now we'll actually talk about the movie.
You mean, can we talk about the action and not the movie?
Well, what does the movie mean outside the action? I actually thought the plot was okay. It's serviceable. It's not amazing.
It's typical. It's very generic.
Zero. They wrote the script for this movie in 53 hours.
Yeah, no, I know. I saw that detail. Because they didn't like what it was before. So I can only imagine how much of a train wreck this could have been. Oh, wait. It was a train wreck.
They gave the scripts out the same week they were gonna, send, that they finished finalizing the script.
Oh my god!
They sent out the scripts to the actors as soon as they were done, basically.
Yeah.
So you can't. For what it is, for what it's worth, I think the plot is fine. It's not amazing. Yes. It's supposed to be a cheesy ninja movie.
It is what it needs to be, because this is an action movie. Typically, you're not expecting something mind-blowing with an action movie because you're going there for the action. I'm always forgivable with plots, so I don't have anything bad to say plot-wise about this movie. It's fine.
All right, so I'm sure you and I were just gonna talk wonderful things about the action itself, but anything else that you think that takes away from the movie-going experience for this? Because I think it's all about the action for me, and what actually ruins it. Because I think that's where the basis of our complaints are going to come from. It's just the way that the movie is shot.
Yeah, I think the action is definitely the worst thing about this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, there's obviously a partial love story in there that's pretty throwaway. You know, you don't really care about these people. Anytime somebody says heart, I just roll my eyes constantly.
You are not wrong about that. Yeah.
Never talk about somebody's heart in a movie. That is the worst. It is the cheesiest dialogue. Like, no one talks like that. You know.
Yeah, they use the heart figuratively and physically in the movie quite often. Well, you can't take me. He can never take me because he doesn't own my heart. And then they start like hardcore making out on screen. Yeah, that's totally what I want to see in my action movie.
Don't do it. Don't do it, screenwriters.
To be
don't
fair,
write about your heart.
To be fair to them, they were trying to add some character element to whatever. I'm just gonna stop defending them. Yeah, it's cheesy.
Yeah, it's cheesy. It's fine. It's not the worst offender in this movie.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the podcast. We're at the point where we give our recommendations, but there's a whole wealth of audio you would be listening to here if you follow us on Patreon. There you can listen to the entire episode, including an exclusive action breakdown of the fights in the movie. And now on to our final thoughts. Oh man, is that all the action in this movie?
That's all I wanted.
Have we analyzed the shit out of it?
We didn't. I feel like I did a disservice to speaking of martial arts choreography because I do like to talk about it.
But here's the thing. We couldn't analyze it fully because the movie doesn't lend itself to be analyzed easily.
You're absolutely correct. You are right. And that's what's so sad about this. I would like to talk about the fights in more detail, but it's kind of hard when you can't really see it. If I will say, if you're kind of curious, I would look up GIFs on the fights, because then you can just kind of watch it over and over and over again, so you can get the semblance of what's going on. It kind of looks cool in that form when I was looking this up, but when you're watching it as a whole, it's a disaster. It's just unfortunate.
I want to see if they still have the editable final cut of this movie. If somebody just go in there and just crank up the
that whatchamacallit, the filters icon, just turn it off. Turn all the filters off.
Yeah, turn that off, and just like you'll see like certain scenes where there's like 1,000 minute little cuts. Just like extend those.
Yeah.
Just like have one camera and just keep it on that camera for a very long time. That would fix up majority of all the action scenes in this movie. Maybe. I don't know.
Hard to tell.
All right, so Zero, do you recommend Ninja Assassin?
No, I do not recommend this movie.
You're like visibly upset with this movie.
Yeah, I don't like to be negative on movies at all. I try to find some good things about it. If you listen to the podcast, you'll probably know that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I can't recommend this.
In any capacity at all?
Jesus. If you're a fan of Rain, and no, I mean it's not even like he's acting in this movie. If you are physically attracted to Rain, like if you're a groupie, if you listen to him in a boy band and you thought he was good looking, and he gets fucking jacked in this movie. So he looks good, like kudos for him for getting in really good shape. I would say then watch it for that.
Is that it? That's such a backhanded compliment to the movie.
To the movie, yes. To Rain, no.
It's like, don't watch the movie for integrity.
Yeah.
Just watch it because, hot Korean man.
Right. I'd say watch the making of.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, definitely watch the making of and imagine what it could have been. Watch the making of, pretend this movie never got greenlit, and that was like their Kickstarter video, like, oh, this is what it's gonna be. And just pretend it never reached their Kickstarter goal.
Oh, man.
And leave it at that. Don't watch this movie. Don't look up the YouTube fights because you won't even be able to see them anyway. I'm being extremely negative, and I don't like to be. Yeah, that's kind of my recommendation on Ninja Assassin.
I think, I can't add anything to that. I think you just got to hit it over the head. I highly recommend the making of. But you know what? Okay, I'll take one. I'll throw an olive branch towards the movie.
Sure.
If you're curious to watch this movie, even a little bit, watch it.
Well, yeah.
Just because I obviously we give recommendations because that's just how we recommend it or not. I think if you have even a slight semblance to watch this movie, you're like, oh, I just want to hear other people's opinions. But I mean, I am on the fence to watch this, this movie, this legendarily ruined movie. Watch it, just to get that curiosity out of the way, because, like what we've talked about, it's, like we're not exaggerating when we talk about how poorly like shot or poorly, like how bad the final product is in terms of the action. And that's our biggest concern in our podcast. But if you're curious at all, watch it once. Because I actually think the movie itself is competently done.
Nuts. I mean, this is a
I'm saying that
Hollywood.
with an inflection.
This is a Hollywood production.
Yeah.
This got millions of dollars put towards it.
By legend. It's a legendary movie, man.
I see
Legendary
what you did there.
Pictures. No, not legendary, but legendary.
No, I know.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. Like there's actual budget behind this, and
and then this is what it turns out. That's why I said it many times. It's very disappointing.
yeah, there's a lot of potential here, and yes, watch the behind the scenes. That's even if you don't watch the movie, definitely watch behind the scenes.
I would say you could watch the behind the scenes, and that you could be fine with that.
Yeah, in place of the movie, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I'd probably even say that.
I
yeah.
would say that definitely.
You probably there's even on top of the behind the scenes. There's also just besides the making of you, there's also just the uncut action scenes, and that itself is way better.
Oh, really?
Than
Okay,
the
I didn't know
action
that.
scems themselves in the movie. You could just watch those, and without any, there's no editing, there's no post production on them. For example, that scene we're just complaining about, where they're fucking fighting in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
You can see snippets of the choreography happening in that room, well lit. It's very well done. It's very impressive. You see the guy falling on a table after doing a flip
Oh, really?
on his back. See, you can't even fucking tell in the movie. It's like you can watch the behind the scenes and get a lot of entertainment value out of it. You
Okay.
can't,
Okay.
If you can't get the same value just by watching the movie, which is really sad. So what you should do is watch the movie, and then anytime there's an action sequence, close your eyes and imagine you're in Disneyland or something like that. Just imagine you're in a better place.
Oh my god.
So yes, that basically I was gonna say, like, I have the same opinion as you with a little asterisk.
Right.
That, yes, don't maybe watch the movie. Definitely watch the behind the scenes, but I will say it's very embarrassing to watch the behind the scenes and hear how much they're talking about what's gonna happen as a result of this movie. Oh, Rain's gonna be the next big action star. Oh, this movie is gonna do so well. Oh, it's a love letter to ninja movies. Oh,
Yeah, but they
this is
said
so
that
great.
in Ninja as well, in Scott Adkins Ninja.
Yeah, no one cares about ninjas anymore, which
No,
is
yeah,
kind of sad.
Right.
We're kind of past it.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I would say I would recommend watching Ninja
really
instead of this. If there's gonna be a ninja movie to watch, well, actually, I would recommend Ninja too. But if you between the two ninja movies that came out relatively at the same time, I would say watch Ninja with Scott Adkins over Ninja Assassin.
right. I don't know. I think they're both equally terrible in my opinion.
Yeah, but at least I could see how terrible Scott
Yeah, that's
Adkins
true.
was
That's true.
in that movie. And I didn't think that movie was terrible.
I don't even remember my final decision on that movie. That just speaks volumes.
Right.
But yeah, we need better representation in ninja movies, because this is our second go at it.
Yeah.
Neither time has been too great.
I was okay with Scott Adkins Ninja. We should talk about part 2
Okay.
sometime.
One day.
One day we'll get
Dude,
there.
3 strikes and I'm done. Okay, I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, but there's like a billion ninja movies we need to get
That's
through.
true. We'll go back in time.
Yes,
Go back in time.
All right.